Israel, Kaba Egypt, Ethiopia, Sudan, Kaja Kushima, you know, when he make on me, So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know, So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know, Manchester, you know, Sumanguru, you know, Osetutu, you know, Wamasa, you know, Yasantwa, you know, Kaja Israel, Kaba Egypt, Ethiopia, Sudan, Abaka, Bajimo, one year, for Karacha, Akachuma, 1 year, and young fan. Abaka, Bajimo, 1 year, for Karacha, Akachuma, 1 year, and young fan. I'm a Caminian Matu, I'm a Onyang Motu, I'm a Kawanyang Watumo. I'm a Caminian Matu, I'm a Kawanyang Watu, I'm a Kawanyang Watumo. I'm a Kawanyang Watumo, we not a Kachimo, Wabanya, Kaja Sadi Mabama, Kaja Sadi Mabama, Kaja Sama, Danjino, Kaja Sadi Mabama, Nimabami, Ebaba, what you do, what you mean,
Hello? Oh, my son is gonna do that. And then he left home, manual. My son, this is a setup. Who was Spain? Oh, yes. Spain was any secret free, huh? A Ghana. Yet we love you. It's 11 and as a member of a baby family. Oh, that be my son. Would you check your phone? Why? It's very easy now to send money from anywhere in Europe to Ghana. I'm in Spain right now, and I just send money to my mom. And on Tiasia, also don't send it, don't take e-levy. No, on tap send, there's no e-levy charge. It's just free when you send. Those in the US, those in London, those in Canada, plenty places in Europe. You can send your money through tap send to Ghana, and please, it's free of charge. There's no deduction in any e-levy or any charge at all. So what are you waiting for? Send the money to those family people. Me must send it. Let's go and take a clan talk. Reggae man of a pack. It's tap send.
At Diaspora Insurance, we understand the importance of dignified send-offs within Ghanaian culture and traditions. We also understand that you want to avoid the double trauma of your family grieving and not having the financial support to cover funeral expenses when you're not around. With our Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan, you can now cover yourself or your family in Ghana or abroad. With no medicals required, we'll accept you if you are under 75 years. Visit our website today or call us to complete a simple form in under 5 minutes. With Diaspora Insurance, your peace of mind is guaranteed.
Araba, there are some people at the door. Go and tell them I have traveled to Russia.
Yes, Daddy.
Where's your father?
My father said I should tell you he has traveled to Russia.
Your father has killed me. I sent him money from America to complete my house for me.
Are all student association contributions?
Even the money from the fundraiser for Kweku's surgery.
Oh! too? Don't be a victim. If you're contributing to a project, alumni dues, or any public campaign, Chango is your best choice. Chango keeps track of all donations and gives you the power to know exactly where the money goes. Chango is approved by Bank of Ghana. Call 0270 066 614 or visit changoapp.com for more information.
Uncle, my father is hiding under the bed.
Oh, Araba.
Chango for your groupings and crowdfunding.
Good evening. Welcome to the New Year edition of the Ghanaian Community Awareness Forum, our first broadcast in the year 2023. My name is Nana Kusikwesin I of Ahanta Traditional Area and the Diaspora, and also the chairman of Ghana Union. Today we have an interesting topic, and we will be listening to discussions from our able expert on the field, who has in many ways delivered sessions on this forum here and in other platforms and in other public fora. He's distinguished on his field, and we are sure that tonight will not be a disappointment, as always. He's never let us down. So he's got all the tips, all the things that you need to give us. This program, before we go further, is brought to you live with the help of Ghana Union, the Ghana Nurses Association UK, the Western Region Association of Nurses, and the Nightingale Ghanaian Nurses Association. It is supported by the Ghana High Commission and, of course, Omega Live TV. We are grateful for the sponsorship and the support from TapTapSend, the #1 money transfer company to Ghana and other parts of the world where they operate. And also the support of IT Consortium, Diaspora Insurance, all your insurance needs. And of course, we are joined tonight live by BWF TV. We are grateful for their partnership carrying this program tonight to many people around the world. From where I am in Florida, it is what time is it now? Probably daylight, but some of you are in the night. So we will be broadcasting to many people around the world from all continents, and those who are joining us will get the information they need. Before I go further, this is a man that does not need much introduction because he's best, and everybody that works or live in UK and have been in contact with him around the world, either UK or in Ghana or any part of the world, knows who he is. He's a man that has all it takes to be a barrister, a solicitor, and of course, does a lot of work on immigration to help Ghanaian community welfare. He has almost become what I would call him our community expert that we call on, and when it comes to legal matters. And he has tested a lot of legal cases to the advantage of many of us who live in UK. I will bring to you our able lawyer and a barrister, Bernard Owusu from BWF Solicitor Senior Partner, to deliver to us this evening a session about compliance. Those of you who want to recruit people from abroad, those of you who want to pass the test with the UK Home Office, what do you need to look out for? What are the things that you need to do to get there? And Bernard is here to take us through. Chairman, we are now in your hands to do us the good work as you always do.
Thank you very much, Nana. I'm very grateful for the introduction, and Happy New Year to everyone who is joining us today. As a community, for me, it gladdens my heart if we can share knowledge and discuss issues and share experiences, and that's exactly what I intend to do today. Now, the reason why we've chosen this topic is the fact that, it cuts both in the UK and outside the UK, and it allows businesses to obtain the necessary licenses and also to recruit both in the UK and outside the UK, and crucially, bring people to come and settle here. It's not a temporary visa, at least to settlement. So it's a heavyweight area in the immigration law, and it's a route which is current, and also it's a route that really requires a lot of diligence and knowledge. And not only diligence and knowledge, but also expertise. I say this not because, I'm a lawyer, but because of the repercussions of getting the required activities wrong. It has dire consequences that may affect your business and even lead to bankruptcy if it's not dealt with carefully. So before I proceed further, I would like to share my screen, and hopefully that will help us to concentrate our minds on the areas that we want to cover. I will run through, it's a lot of information to share, but I will take the broad line outlines and also discuss the salient points that I believe will be relevant. I will try and use ordinary language as much as possible, and I will be less legalistic and more a common man of the street. So today we'll all speak the same language. I'm sure you can all see my screen, and I'll just put this somewhere here. Yes. So the topic is how to secure a Home Office sponsorship license, and also how to pass a compliance visit or compliance audit once you've secured the license. First of all, as you know, the sponsorship license is required for anyone who wants to employ migrants, both in the UK and from outside the UK. And it's a system that has been with us for a number of years now. And it was called a points-based system. And usually part of this covers the students, which is a tier 4. And then the one that we're concentrated on today is a tier 2, which is a skilled migrant program, or what we call the SW, which is a skilled worker. There are various laws and regulations, guidances, and manuals that have been provided. So what I've put together is a knowledge from all aspects of the law, the guidance, and also the manuals that I've put together. The license itself, it's an application that has to be made. And to make the application, you need to be a business, you need to be registered in the UK, and the business has to be based in the UK. The important, significant personnel must also be based in the UK. The Home Office will only grant a sponsorship license to an organization that can show that the roles that they are recruiting for comes within the requirements of the route, which is a tier 2 route. In addition, the organization must have set systems in place, and I'll call it a human resource system, that complies with the employer's legal duties. Because what is happening is that the Home Office is caving off part of its responsibilities to you as an employer. So whereas the Home Office will have done the assessment as to whether somebody qualifies to come here as tier 2, and then deals with a visa application, the Home Office is only now dealing with a visa application. So it's for you to determine whether this person qualifies within the rules as somebody who can come to the UK as a skilled migrant worker or an SW. The law itself is very strict. It is strict because it gives you certain pigeonholes that you need to fit your requirements within. So for example, the rules that I've identified for our purposes today are 4. So the skilled worker visa, the global business mobility visa, the health care visa, and also the temporary worker visa. All these are very specific required eligibility outlines, which a business must meet if they want to bring somebody under the skilled worker visa. Now, health care worker visa comes under the skilled worker visa, and it was done last year, and it's now part of what we call the shortage occupation. So healthcare visa, which most Ghanaian businesses use, is very significant, and we'll dwell on that when we come to the other parts. Now, before you bring somebody or you employ somebody here, so I keep saying somebody here, well, if I'm already here, why would I need somebody with a sponsorship visa? You may be here on a temporary visa. It may be a student, or it may be some other aspect of temporary visa, which obviously requires that this employer employs you and grants you the leave to remain. First of all, you've identified yourself as a business. You're registered. You've got your registration certificate. You've got your premises. We've talked about the HR system, and I'll explain why it's very crucial in what you're about to do. You need to identify people who will be able to manage the systems that you've set up. This may be people that you employ within the organization, or it may be your legal representative. It's not all areas that can be done by a legal representative. So, for example, an authorizing officer, a key contact, and a tier 1 or tier 2 key holder are people that must be working in your organization, although the contact person can be a legal representative, because the contact person will be the person that the Home Office will reach out to if they need certain information or they're required to come and visit you during their compliance visit. These people are very, very crucial to the success of the system, because some of them will be running the SMS, which is a sponsorship migrant system. And it is crucial that they understand your business, they understand your business needs, and they understand the specific aspects to the people that you're recruiting. It is crucial because they will be performing significant aspects of this process. And I say significant aspects because if you get it wrong, the consequences are very, very dire. And I say dire because I have seen businesses collapse for failing compliance visit. For example, this person must be able to identify what the eligibility requirements are for a skilled worker, what type of English is required, what a points-based system is. You need a 70 points, what gives you 10, what gives you 20, what gives you another 20, what gives you another 20. They will be doing all this assessment. So it's very important that they understand every nature of your business and the Home Office requirement. The authorizing officer will be like the overarching person who will be the person who occupies the most senior position in the organization. Usually I use the directors. So if you pass as a director, it's very likely that you can also pass as an authorizing officer. This person will also be in charge of recruitment and HR policies. You must have an HR policy. And I'll tell you why you must have an HR policy. You must also have policies which are documented, either digitally or in hard copies, because you will have to share this with the Home Office during the application process. The other person who I will refer to as the level 1 user is the person who will be working on the SMS. The SMS is a system that is designed, run, and set up by the Home Office that you are given access to use as your portal to communicate with the Home Office. It is the system that allows you to apply for COS, which is Certificate of Sponsorship, or DCOS, a Defined Certificate of Sponsorship. It is a system that gives you the route to report in relation to your reporting duties. And it is the system that allows you to amend any of the COSs that you've assigned. It is crucial that this person is a trustworthy person. It is also crucial that if you are the owner of the business, you have overall oversight over this person. The level 1 has access to all aspects of the SMS, including applying for COS or DCOS, including changing the premises addresses, including reporting duties, and including amending COSs. Level 2 has only limited access, which usually will be relevant to your address and also location of businesses. Therefore, in appointing these people, you need to be mindful that you're appointing people that you can trust. The key personnel that you nominate, usually with small businesses, one person can act in all 4 or 5 areas. So it can be the authorizing officer, they can be the contact person, they can be the level 1 user, and they can be the level 2 user. If somebody would say, what is a small business? Small business is any business that you have less than 50 employees, maybe. Anything more than that, I would suggest that you get at least 2 people, an authorizing officer who can be you as a director, and then the other ones you can give to your personnel manager or human resource expert or your coordinating manager. You always must ensure that the key personnel are permanently based in the UK throughout the duration of their role. You must also ensure that they are paid members of staff. I did mention that you can give the contact person to a legal representative, but that is the only aspect of this role that you can give to a lawyer. The rest must be people that come under you, that you pay. And I've stated that, for example, you cannot allow a legal representative in some of the key roles, which is the authorizing officer, the level 1 user or level 2 user. Please, this person must not be bankrupt, and it must be someone who does not have unspent conviction. I'll repeat again. This person must not have an unspent criminal conviction, and this person must not be bankrupt. The reason why is that when you are authorizing this person to act on your behalf, candor, trust, truthfulness, integrity, and diligence is at the heart of the functions of this person. So, unfortunately, if somebody is bankrupt or somebody has an unspent conviction, unfortunately, in the system that we live, they are frowned upon in occupying certain positions. And the same thing applies to these positions as well. 1, before you submit your application, there should be a need for you to recruit. So if you've already got your full set of employees, you don't need anybody to work for you. Or even if you need someone, you're going to employ people who are settled, they are British citizens or have indefinite leave, then you don't need to have the system. However, if you want to apply for the system, then there should be a genuine vacancy or employment in the organization. I will define what a genuine vacancy is. The organization must be a lawful business or a legal entity. If it's a limited liability company, for example, it must be registered with the Companies House. You can run the business without being a limited liability. But because of the nature of the business, accountants will always advise you to have a limited liability company. However, there are no requirements that a business should be trading for any particular time. So you may start it today and apply for this. The only difference is that if you've been trading for a year plus, the requirements of documents that are needed from you are different. If you're recently trading, the requirements for those documents are also different. I've already stated that the personnel must be based in the UK. The business must also be based in the UK. Within what I've said is a genuine vacancy, is the need for you to show that indeed you require a personnel at the level that you say you require and at the wages that you say you will pay. The ordinary definition of a genuine vacancy is what I've given you, that you require a personnel at the level that you say you require and at the wages that you say you will pay. Anything short of that, the position is not genuine. So this is not a route for you to go and bring your family members to come and live here and say, well, I want to bring my sister and my brothers and everything because I want them to come and live here. However, if there's a genuine need for them, nothing stops you from employing them. You can employ them in certain situations. You cannot issue the COS. It has to be done by someone else. Your business must be honest, it must be dependable, and it must be reliable. When I say the business, I mean the business and its owners. So, for example, the directors appointed to key personnel, again, must not have unspent conviction. They must not be a threat to immigration control. They must not have civil penalty fines as an employer. They must not have employed someone who is an illegal immigrant. They must not have facilitated illegal entry. Now, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on all this because people are not aware that these are some of the requirements that are needed. Within this broad outline, the most important for me are the two things that I've mentioned: genuine vacancy, honest, dependable, and reliable personnel and business. However, the other important aspect is your HR recruitment processes and systems, because you will need to demonstrate how you recruit with documents, either soft, digital, or hard copies. You will have to send your manual of how you check your migrants. For example, if somebody applies to you as a migrant, what process do you use to check whether this person is allowed to work? Are you aware that if somebody's got a card, you can log online, put the card details there, and it will tell you that they are allowed to work? What about if somebody doesn't have a biometric card? They've got a visa and their passport. Or somebody comes to you with a COA, which is a certificate of application. Maybe they have an appeal at a court. Can you employ this person? Do you know what you have to do? These are manuals that you will have documented. What is your holiday policy? Do you have employment contract template? These are the HR processes that I'm talking about. Do you know how long you should report to the immigration if somebody that you've issued COS to and employed doesn't report to work? Do you know that if their time has changed, you also need to report? All this is not things that you say, but things that you do. And if things you do, you need to exhibit it in documentary form. Usually it will be digital or soft or hard copy. The genuineness test should be approached as a business case. When you're making your application, it's like you're writing a love letter to the Secretary of State, and you're telling the Secretary of State why you, HA Enterprise, requires permission to be able to recruit from outside the UK or within the UK. What is your business about? If it's a business that required a professional certification like a CQC, have you got it? If it's a business that requires that certain things are done, like a law firm, are you registered with a SRA? If it's a nursing business, have you got your certification in place? All these are things that you must exhibit as part of your application process. To build a convincing case, in addition to the things that I've said, why do you need ABC? Why do you need to employ 50 people from outside? Because you can employ as many as possible. In fact, when this thing was opened last year, currently there's been 65,000 applicants with 45,000 family members At the moment, less than a year, people that have recruited in this category are usually nursing and healthcare homes, but also other businesses that we will look at later. Within your business case, what is your turnover? So, for example, if somebody tells me that I want to employ 10 people and I'm going to pay them £22,480 each, because that's the minimum for a healthcare worker, and your turnover for the year is 20,000. Now, how do you justify this? Well, you may be able to justify, because you may have a contract from LB Lambeth, from LB Hackney, from LB Haringey. You may have a contract from Waltham Forest NHS Trust. You will have to quantify all this and then do a forecast. And that's why you do your business plan. If you haven't been trading for a year, an accountant can help you. If you've been trading for a year, then you have your 1 year account, which is certified accounts, which has been filed to the HM Revenue and Customs, and it's either SA 302 or a self-assessed filed forms with a date stamped receipt from the HM Revenue and Customs. Let's be mindful that when you're proving your case, you need to prove that the role that you're recruiting meets the category for which you've applying for. And to do this, you will need to perform certain assessments. The first thing that I want you to be mindful of is that once you've gathered everything, including your last audited account, employer's liability insurance, if you're VAT registered, you've got your VAT certificate. If you're a business, you have a business account, your HM Revenue Customs registered, and there is proof or ownership of the premises. It may be a lease, it may be a rental, it may be full ownership under mortgage. Either way, these documents, in addition to the business plan, employment contract, HR procedures contract, or a manual, these are the documents that you will be sending to the Home Office for the application. In addition to what I've said so far, you need to explain why you're making the application. You need to explain the industry you're in, your opening times. These things might be, ordinary stuff, but they need it. They need it because when they want to visit you, they want to know the times that you're open so that they can come around. You also need to draw a hierarchy chart. And for a small business, it usually will be the owner who is the director. It might be the office manager. It might be the recruitment officer. It might be the HR personnel. It might be the healthcare coordinator. It might be the complex case manager. But whatever it is, you need to have a hierarchy. But please, it's not only the positions that you're showing, but with the hierarchy, you also must show the vacancies. So if you're making your initial application, and within the application, you need to tell them how many people you're recruiting. You need to identify the people you want to recruit. And if they are outside, they will need their names, their passport numbers, and their job description, and possibly a contract of employment template. On your hierarchy chart, because you're going to employ 10 more people from outside or within UK, you need to create part of the hierarchy as a vacancy and call it maybe office managers or care assistants or care workers and say vacancy 10. If you don't do that and you submit your hierarchy chart and then you make your application, it seems that your organization is full because you are not showing the vacancy. It's possible that they'll write to you and say, how many people are you employing? Tell us their names, bring their passport numbers, their experiences, and share your job description with us. What I've realized is that since they prepared the new manual in November last year, if you don't add the names of these people and all these documents at the first application, they are very unlikely to come back, and they will either refuse or reject your application. You must always provide a contact number. They prefer a landline. If you have a mobile phone, there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm saying they prefer landline. But if you've got a mobile phone, there's nothing wrong with it. Now, the crucial part of this is that once you've identified the business, you need to identify the standard occupation classification, which is what we call the SOC. The SOC is normally done by the National Statistics Organization. And for example, a care worker will be a 6145, a senior care worker will be a 6146. A doctor, I think, is about 2143. Every occupation or similar occupation has a SOC. So for the organization that you've set up and want to recruit for, you must know the SOC that you want to employ for. I've already mentioned job description. You need also to design your job description and explain the skills, experience, and qualification that is needed. We all know that in healthcare, there is no particular skill or qualification needed as part of the eligibility requirement. However, I'm aware that nursing homes are training people before they recruit them. So that's something that you want to also consider. Also, just be mindful that in addition to the SOC, every SOC has its attributed income. So we know that for healthcare assistant is 20,240 or 240, yes. But it has to be a guaranteed salary for that job. Please, if you want to cut corners, this is not for you. If you want to bring people who are coming to work for 38 hours or 40 hours, and you say, I'm going to pay them 22,000, and when they come, you pay them 18,000. They don't have to come there to know, because as part of this process, you will disclose your tax reference number or your payroll reference number. What it means is that they will run your tax reference number and your payroll reference number through the HM revenue and customs system, and they will know the people who are working for you and how much you've been paying them every week or every month. And if there is suspicion that you are underpaying them, although you told them you're going to pay them the recommended rate, they are likely to come for a compliance visit. The last one is a row on your hierarchy chart, which I've already mentioned. It's a vacancy, so you need to show it as vacancy. So if it's 10 vacancies, you show it as 10 vacancies, but you mention the title of the position. It's crucial that whilst you're doing all this, you are also keeping records. Because once your application is gone through or is going through, you are committing to adhering to certain administrative duties designed to ensure prevention of illegal working in the UK. Compliance with those duties are very comprehensive, and therefore you must keep an up-to-date record and maintain a consistent register of your employees, including when they come to work and when they leave work, when they report and when they visit clients if they work outside your office. You have a monitoring duty, you have an absence duty, and you have a notification duty. Your part of your SMS duties is to report to the Home Office if they've been absent for a certain number of days, and we will know what dates they are. In addition to keeping your management records, these are the records that you must also keep. You must keep records of their passport copies, and I like this to be done digitally. You scan, you save on the system. Yes, I've seen businesses who are still doing the old style of photocopy on the file, photocopy on the file. That is okay, but just be mindful the photocopy on the file, what is your alert system? If somebody is a student whom you've employed to work for 20 hours, you haven't applied for license for the person, so they're working only 20 hours, and their visa is expired, what alert system do you have that will alert you a month, 2 months before it expires that you need to request a replacement right to work for this person? I say this because when they come on compliance visit, they will be asking to test your system. So they will ask you, give me the file of Ekwiatenewa. Show me how you recorded Ekwiatenewa's right to work. I can see that Ekwiatenewa is a student. Her leave expires next year, February. Test your system and show me how your alert system will come. Please, they will ask you. They will check your reporting calendar to see how staff sign in. You should also be mindful that the Home Office will review the employment contract that you employ staff on. You must offer an employment letter to every person you recruit. In addition, you must give them a signed employment contract and make a digital copy. Create a folder on your system. Create a calendar. It might be an Outlook calendar or it might be a bespoke calendar for that particular profession or occupation. But whatever you do, create an alert calendar that will alert you when this will expire. Please, our brains can be foggy at times. I know sometimes we think that we are superhuman. Don't rely on your brains to remind you of the 50 people who are working for you when their documents will expire. At one visit, although I had an argument or a discussion with the Home Office visiting officer, they even demanded to know whether they have a system in place that will alert them of when the British passport will expire. So I had to explain that if somebody is holding a British passport, they are not subject to immigration control. So once you've got a British passport, you are as good as having a permanent and indefinite confirmation that the person is allowed to work. The employer must have in place processes to track and monitor where the employees are working. Because if the employee doesn't report for work for 10 working days, you have a reporting duty. And if this duty is not performed, it's one of the reasons where you may be downgraded from an A to a B, which means you cannot issue a course. Or if it's a significant breach, then your certificate will be revoked, which means that every person that you've employed on a license cannot continue to work for you. It is therefore important that these things are done religiously and diligently. Your license, if you are lucky enough, one of the lucky few, and I say lucky few because only few people can pass because the test is stringent. If you're lucky to get a license, it's valid for 4 years. The license will be reviewed or you can renew it before it expires. The license does not renew automatically. You must ensure that in the renewal application, because the Home Office now has 4 years of information about you, including every person that you've employed, there's no way of lying to them anymore. So now they've got all the evidence they need, and that is why I keep saying record keeping. So when they are coming for compliance audit, the compliance audit may be before your license is issued or after your license is issued. If it's before, the things that you told them that you do currently because you're already working, they will test it. If it's after it's issued, the things that you told them you would do is what they're coming to test. I've underlined this the Home Office will have 4 years of information on the SMS and documentation to assess, to verify that you've complied with your licensing duties. If the business has not been subject to a compliance visit during the first 4 years of its license, you should prepare for a Home Office visit during the renewals. As such, it's important to make sure that you test on your own, you test your system. How do you test your system? You ask somebody like me to come in, and I come in pretending that I'm Home Office officer, and I will test every single aspect of your systems. How? Because we have been tested. We've gone to places and businesses that we represent who have been tested, so we know what they're going to test. We know the questions they will ask you. We know the manual they will use. We know the silly questions they will ask you to get you angry. And we know the silly things that they will ask you, why haven't you got this on the form? For example, you've employed someone. Do you know that you need to have a contact person, a next of kin on the application form? That itself is a breach. They can allow you to correct it. But if you don't have a next of kin, it's a breach. Why it's a breach is because if, as a business, if there's a problem in your business with this person, who do you contact? This person must have a different telephone number, email from the person you've employed. And it is crucial because I've seen it happen before. Yes, we'll speak for you as lawyers, but clearly, if you're failing this minor stuff, combined, it may be very significant. And it may be the reason why you may not get a license. And again, we should be mindful that it's not all rules that can come under the skilled migrant route. For example, if you want somebody to come and run your chop bar for you, it's totally different. Yes, chefs can be recruited. Some Michelin chefs come in almost automatically. Youth mobility, if you're a charity, you can bring youth mobility, but it's not every role that you can recruit. You need to be mindful of the skills and the salary level. You also need to be mindful that the skills and the language that is required are satisfied. The reason being that when you look at the table that I've just shared, this is what you'll be performing every single day that you decide to recruit someone. We said that the person needs 70 points. Already you can see we've got 50. The next one is the income. The income will give the person 20 points. The first 20 points is that the person who is employing you, which is you, the business, you are an approved sponsor. The approved sponsor means that you've been tested by Home Office, they've looked at your documents, they may have come to visit you, and they've given you the sponsorship license. If you have the sponsorship license and you're employing someone, already you've got 20 points. If the job you're giving the person is at the appropriate skill level, the person has got 20 points. So you are a nursing home. You want to employ a nurse or a healthcare worker. It is at an appropriate skill level. The person has got those skills. That is 20 points. For healthcare, there are 4 modules of English that they need to pass: speaking, listening, writing, and reading. We know that if somebody is applying for leave to remain in the UK, they need speaking and listening. If somebody is going for British nationality, they need speaking and listening. If somebody is going to be a student, the school, the university can test them on the telephone because it's a university and pass them. None of this will meet the test for the skilled worker, especially for healthcare worker, because the healthcare worker itself, the specified English test is 4 modules: speaking, listening, reading, and writing. The specified evidence is either a UK VI approved provider doing a Pearson or doing an IELTS. If you're doing an IELTS, it must have the unique UK VI reference number. Now, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this, and I will continue to do that, because the number of times that I've seen certificate issued to clients who've come to see me, and I've alerted a business that what you've done is wrong, cancel the certificate, because if they find out you are in breach, and they could take your license away from you. People are issuing certificate because somebody's got a foundation certificate, a foundation degree. Why? Because they say, well, but they said that you can employ someone who's got GCSE. So foundation degree is higher than. So, well, look on the documents that tells you what English you need. And there's nowhere where foundation degree is one of the specified English routes that you can use. So, my dear sister, brother, my dear friend, if you're a business owner, you're lucky enough to get this license, please don't mess it up. Learn and note, study what you must look at. If you can't, employ someone to do it for you. And the most crucial aspect of all this, as you can see here, the salary. Now you can see that I've put mandatory, tradable. When it says tradable, if somebody's got a PhD and they are earning lower than the recommended salary, they can get away with it if it is at least 80% of the recommended salary. But for example, for healthcare, the recommended salary is 28,480, or I think it's £10.20 an hour. If somebody's got a PhD, the question, if somebody's got a PhD, why would they do healthcare? But they do. Why would they? But you can pay them at 80% of that cost. Now, if the person meets this threshold, which is what you've offered, then they get 20 points. So it'll be 20, 20, 10 for English, and 20 for income or salary. Once you've done that, you've checked all your data, and this person qualifies. This is why I said it is tradable with the income. So for salaries which meet the recommended threshold, they only get 10 points. Sorry, for salaries which do not meet the recommended threshold because they miss it by 90, they miss it by 10%, they only get 10 points. They won't get 70, they will get 60. So they won't qualify. However, any of this, if it's a shortage occupation designated by migration worker, and that is why the recommended salary for all skilled workers is minimum is 23,040. For certain skilled work, it is lower because it is on the shortage occupation. So the MACA, or the Migration Advisory Committee, have recommended in those cases, because they are a shortage occupation, you can pay them a lower rate. I've also emphasized the PhD, which is here, and that again is tradable. How to do your coding. Sorry, let me go back. So how to do the coding. So the correct coding is very, very important. So every job in UK has got a code. Every job, be it teacher, manager, nurse, cleaner, care worker, doctor, every job has a national code, which is relevant to the job. It might be very close, it might be a general one, but it will have a code. Your SOC, which is a standard occupation code or classification, is important when you're issuing this, your course, the COS, which is a certificate of sponsorship, which is a certificate that you issue once you've done the assessment and awarded a 70 point. You then go to issue the certificate on the SMS. The job description, which you will send to the Home Office one day, must meet the SOC, or the Standard Occupation Classification. If you don't know what it is, go to the National Survey or the statistical website. It will tell you what a specific job description is. If you're unsure of the correct code, it is always important to visit the Office of National Statistics. As I've said, they have a coding tool. If you put the occupation in, it will give you the code or the near code, and it will allow you to determine which is applicable. You can also cross-reference with the Home Office appendix. For me, that is not comprehensive. So you must always check the ONS, which is the Office of National Statistics. They have the national code. Sorry, I just went back. Okay. In preparation for the application, it's always important to do a test run. How do you do a test run? You do a test run by looking at the Home Office requirement and laying your tools down and see whether every item that you've ticked there, you've already got it. As well as checking the system, it is important to check if the practices that you have and procedures at your address, where the organization has their permanent address, complies with your employer's duty, because that way you will ensure compliance. Your duty is ongoing. It doesn't stop when they grant it to you. So when you got it, and now you can bring 10 people, 20 people, 30 from Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, South Africa. My dear brother or sister, your duty hasn't stopped. Your duty is a continuing duty whilst your business is running and recruiting people. As I said, during the pre-license, you may get a visit. During the post-license, you may get a visit. It is always important that you don't allow them to impose a sponsor action plan, because they can, or downgrade your license, or worst case scenario, revoke it. If they come and the little things that you think are little, like what you said you will pay, you're not paying, like they don't have annual holidays, like you don't have a proper alert system of when their leave will expire, like this person hasn't reported to work for 2 weeks, you haven't reported to the Home Office, and you think it's okay, they may come in and impose what we call a sponsor action plan. It is to sit and work with you to correct your errors. They will downgrade you from A rated to B, which means you cannot issue any more costs, and work with you until you are able to show them that now they can trust you again. They can also downgrade the license or suspend it. If they downgrade it, they will bring you from A to B. The consequences for both of them is no good. Because we know that in the healthcare industry, staff turnover is the highest in the UK, because people don't stay for long. And you are always recruiting, always replacing. So if your license is revoked, suspended, or downgraded, that is very likely that you will not be able to employ somebody from outside or even a student in the UK. It is therefore important that you look at all this. The Home Office will require extensive preparation to collate evidence, identify a correction plan with you within the time frame that they've given you. The Home Office can then reinstate your license, or instead of revoking it, they might downgrade it because you haven't been in compliance. A revoked license means you will no longer be able to lawfully employ your sponsored workers. So every person you've brought from Ghana, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, once they revoke your license, it is bye-bye to them. You know what? You've messed them up. They now have to go and look for another employer or leave the UK, because they'll be given 90 days to find an employer, or they will become illegal. You will usually have to wait for 12 months before you can reapply. When they revoke, reduce, or downgrade, you cannot appeal against the decision. However, because it's a decision of an arm of government, you can go for judicial review, very expensive legal process. In addition, if you're employing an illegal person, because you didn't do the employer check-in service, you didn't get the proof to work from the Home Office, you could be fined 20,000. I know someone who was fined 10,000. Being fined, maybe you've made a lot of money so you can pay. And what it means is that the repercussions on you holding on to your license. Remember, when you first applied, you were asked, have you received a civil penalty for employing an illegal person on the application form? So now that you've got it, if you employ someone who's not supposed to be employed, or you continue to employ someone whose leave has expired because your alert system did not warn you, you will be fined between 20,000 and 10,000 pounds. Now, that's a lot of money, and it may affect your future engagement with the Home Office. Within the broad outline that I've given, there are things that I want you to focus on. And these are the things that I want you to focus on. 1, the sponsor license duty is ongoing. 2, they may impose a plan on you. 3, they may downgrade you. 4, they may revoke your license. 5, it is your duty to check whether each person you want to employ here has a right to work. And whilst you've employed a person and you've got a license for the person and you've given them 3 years or 4 years to work with you, you still need to set an alert system for the 3 years that it will expire. 5, you need to invest in an HR system that is fit for purpose. We as solicitors, we use Peninsula. You may have, one which is not that expensive. I know hairdressers have their own HR software. I know the nursing people and nursing agencies, the nursing homes also have their own, which records attendances, holidays, lateness. But above all, every document that you're creating to employ this person, every record that you're checking, please save it digitally. Invest in a small scanner. Invest in a small copier. You don't have to buy a copier. You can lease a copier, which is a printer, a copier, and a scanner. Invest in a small network in your business. It doesn't cost too much. You might spend £500, £600 to get a bespoke network computer in your office. Please, this is not a filing system where you can just put in your cabinet and then forget about it. We are not superhuman. And for you to survive in this business, be mindful that you're doing the job of the Home Office, and therefore you are required to have utmost integrity and trustworthiness. And if you don't, unfortunately, your license will go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I pause. And I thank you all, and I'll take any questions that you may have for me. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Bernard. As always, very refreshing to have you. This is a very thorough, well-proven process you've taken us through, and I'm sure our audience there's a lot of messages coming already your way for the excellent presentation. I think it would be fair to say we will give you a few minutes to take a glass of water while we take a break, and we will come back. I do ask audience to please, those who have questions, raise your hand using the icon so that we will call you by one after the other. I think this is a very excellent presentation. There's a lot that we've learned. Home office, dealing with home office, you need expertise. And some of the reasons why some people who go to this wannabe lawyers and find themselves in trouble is the exact reason why Bernard has explained this in detail. So we'll come back in a few seconds and we'll take questions. Please do raise your hand using the Zoom icon or put a message and it will go through. Until then, we'll be back with you in a few minutes.
Hello? Oh, my son is Canada. And then he left home, man. My son, this is a setup. He was Spain. Oh, yes. Spain most any seeker free. Ghana. Yet we love you. It's 11 and as a man of a baby from around. Oh, that be my son. Would you check your phone? Why? It's very easy now to send money from anywhere in Europe to Ghana. I'm in Spain right now, and I just send money to my mom. And on Tiasie, also don't send it, don't take e-levy. No, on tap send, there's no e-levy charge. It's just free when you send. Those in the US, those in London, those in Canada, plenty places in Europe. You can send your money through tap send to Ghana, and please, it's free of charge. There's no deduction in any e-levy or any charge at all. So what are you waiting for? Send the money to those family people. Me must send it. Let's go and take a clan talk. Reggae man of a pack. It's tap send.
Araba, there are some people at the door. Go and tell them I have traveled to Russia.
Yes, Daddy.
Where's your father?
My father said I should tell you he has traveled to Russia.
Your father has killed me. I sent him money from America to complete my house for me.
Are all student association contributions?
Even the money from the fundraiser for Kweku's surgery.
Oh! Too? Don't be a victim. If you're contributing to a project, alumni dues, or any public campaign, Chango is your best choice. Chango keeps track of all donations and gives you the power to know exactly where the money goes. Chango is approved by Bank of Ghana. Call 0270-066-614 or visit changoapp.com for more information.
Uncle, my father is hiding under the bed.
Oh, Araba.
Chango for your groupings and crowdfunding.
At Diaspora Insurance, we understand the importance of dignified send-offs within Ghanaian culture and traditions. We also understand that you want to avoid the double trauma of your family grieving and not having the financial support to cover funeral expenses when you're not around. With our Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan, you can now cover yourself or your family in Ghana or abroad. With no medicals required, we'll accept you if you are under 75 years. Visit our website today or call us to complete a simple form in under 5 minutes. With Diaspora Insurance, your peace of mind is guaranteed.
Welcome back, audience. Tonight we've been privileged to have with us Bernard Osu from BWF Solicitors, an expert who has taken us through processes to become a licensed sponsor and obviously passing the checks that Home Office will need to do for you to, as a business or an employer, get to that position of responsibility. He has taken us through a lot of things, the due diligence one needs to take care of, the processes. We will be going to Q&A and hopefully you have some questions that will come to his way. And I'm sure Bernard is always, as always, ready for your questions. This program has been put together by Ghana Union, UK, the Western Region Association of Nurses, UK, the Ghana Nurses Association, UK, and then of course, it's endorsed by the Ghana High Commission, televised live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, we are on Zoom now. This program will be recorded and will be available to you if you log on to Ghanaian Community Awareness Forum on Facebook. All our recordings over the past 2 years are there. Anything that you've missed, just go to Facebook and type in Ghanaian Community Awareness Forum, and everything that you need to check is there. So this forum is also being recorded. And for those who want to go back and listen to some of the areas that Bernard has mentioned already, can do so. We want to thank TapTapSend for their support for this program, Diaspora Insurance and IT Consortium. Bernard, luckily for us, out of your good work, there's no hands up yet, which tells me that people have taken it really well.
I think there are some questions in the chat. There are 9 questions there.
There are some chat room questions. So we will look at that one, and hopefully those who want to express this by their voice will do so. I've got one hand up, but I will look at one of the chat room questions. Okay, so chat. All right, can a healthcare recruitment agency awaiting CQC registration apply for sponsor license? That's one question.
Let me take that question,
yes.
Because it's very, very important. Already, I've seen a problem with this application already.
Yes.
And for us, it's very important that people speak to specialists. The word recruitment defeats everything you're doing. The word recruitment and the word agency. So recruitment itself is not a problem, because that's what you will do eventually. But calling yourself healthcare recruitment agency, it means that you don't have job for the people, you're recruiting for someone. However, in actual fact, that may not be the case. But once they see recruitment agency, they are not interested. Because the typical UK employment agency, recruitment agency are people who recruit for certain businesses. They don't have a contract with you. It will be the place of work where you'll be working that will have a contract with you. So, my dear, I think it's Shula Akosia Duku. You need to turn this around, and I want to see your governing documents. I want to see your governing documents. I will go to Companies House, and that is how we test our businesses. I will go on your website, and when you go, you see all the telltale signs. So you tell your clients, you need to pull this down. We need to amend your governing documents. We need to update Company House, because with what you have told the whole world that you're doing, you will not get this license. Right. So if you are waiting CQS, it tells me that you may have a contract with the local authority, either you're providing domiciliary care, or you may have a contract with the NHS, and both will allow you to get a license. But we need to go to your Companies House documents and check your governing document. And if you have a website, if you don't have a website, you must all have a website. And we need to put certain things on the website. If you have a CQC, we need to be sure that you're meeting all the milestones that they've set you. Because when they come for your visit, they give you things to do. Although it's not relevant to your application, whether you're CQC registered or not. It's not everyone who is in the care industry who's CQC. Some people may have inspection from the local authority. However, if you've gone the CQC way, let's be sure that you're meeting all the threshold.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. There's a question here. Do the Home Office visit before issuing the license? Is it always a criteria that they will visit? Is it likely, or they will just go by what you provided as a basis to grant you?
Okay, they can visit, and I'll tell you, we were visited as well, because we are allowed to recruit from outside as well as a law firm. So we were visited. I've also supervised at least about 3 visits with some of the businesses that we manage, some of our clients, and 2 were pre-approval, and then 2 were post approval. And yes, they can visit before, they give you the license.
Right. Thank you. There's another one that says, can a beauty salon company sponsor beauty therapists from outside the UK as skilled workers, specifically from Afro-Caribbean community?
Yes. I didn't want to share that because it's a long list of almost every occupation in the UK can be sponsored. Right. Almost. But some of them are shortage occupations. So the process of employing the person is very easy. Some of them you need to pass something called a resident labor test. So if you're bringing a beauty therapist from Africa, why don't you employ here? But if you're bringing a carer from Africa, nobody will ask you, why don't you employ here? Because the carer is on a shortage occupation. Right. The fact that it's on shortage occupation means they're very hard to come by in the UK. Yeah. And as I keep saying, in every area, you can get a license. Like, for example, lawyers are not we're not on shortage list, but we have a license to employ people from outside and within the UK. So, but we've got a license. We are A-rated. So can a hairdresser salon, once you're meeting all the threshold. But to bring a hairdresser, you see, there's one thing having the license and one thing being successful in using the license. Why would you pay a solicitor several thousands of pounds to help you to get a license when you cannot bring or employ someone on that license? It's wasted money. So yes, it's possible, but you have to go through the resident labor test.
I see. So in some cases, this is my own question. If you can prove that, say for instance, a hairdresser or a hairdresser, if they can prove that they've tried every avenue, employed, and it hasn't worked, could that help with their justification for going outside, even though there are people around?
So the resident labor test, which is what we used to use for all skilled tier 2 migrant workers who were not in shortage occupation. Before, the only people we had on shortage occupation were doctors, nurses, and compulsory school teachers.
Right.
Now, as low as a carer who could be somebody who doesn't have education, once they can speak, read, write, and pass the English test, they are coming. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what area it is. You can have a license for every area of your occupation, of your profession, of your business. But the resident labor test means that you have done all the search and all the adverts and everything, and you cannot find a qualified person to fill that position. So you need to exhibit with all the adverts that we do. Before, when we helping businesses, we advertise at trade associations online, and now there are a lot of online advertising portals, and also at the Job Center Plus.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Diamond Arthur, please, if you're able to unmute yourself. Is Diamond still with us? Unmute yourself, please, and go ahead with your question.
Hello, good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. So I just want to say a great job and a great discussion. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I wanted to ask the two questions. I wanted to find out, first of all, if I wanted to apply for the sponsorship license, the tier 2 license, as a business owner, can I use an address, as in a home address, like a house address, to do that? Or do I need to have to actually find a proper, suitable office address to use? That's one question. And the second question is, how much roughly does it cost for the license application? And do you guys assist in any way with the process?
We do. That's a job that,
when you say assist in any way, you mean assist with cost, or what?
As in the process of applying it, and that's what I'm trying to find out.
Okay.
Yes, so we assist. We assist in all areas. We assist you to set up your business. We can assist you to draw up your business plan. We can assist you to do your forecasts. We can assist you to do your regulatory documents. We can assist you to draft your manuals, for example, how to check whether somebody can work or not. We can assist you to draft your employment contract. We can assist you to identify a proper HR software to buy. We can assist you on how to set up your alerts. We can assist you from the beginning to the end, and then we manage you all the way throughout the period. Yes, you can use your residential address. Remember that if you're a nursing person and you're recruiting healthcare people, they're not coming to work at your address. You're sending them to people's homes and to hospitals, but you retain them as your staff. They are your staff. So you get a contract that we need, every day provide 100 staff. You've got a contract for 2, 3, 4, 5 years with the local authority. So you go to old people's homes every day and you send your staff to go, maybe they drive or they go in tools, or you may have a home which is registered, but the home address and the business address are totally different. The location of the employee, and that's why when you're issuing your COS, they will ask you, where is this person going to work? Your home address can be your registered address for your business, but you will have to use a different location for this person who's going to work.
Okay, thank you.
And then you wanted to know the fee for the application is £500. If you want to expedite it, you pay £200. So when you make the application, these days it's quicker. So really, you don't have to pay a priority application. When you make the application, you pay £500 online, and then you get a unique reference number. And then once it's approved, they will send an email. If they need more information, they will send an email as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just for those who want to know, BWF Solicitors is based at Seven Sisters. Seven Sisters is served on Victoria Line. So wherever you're coming from, you get yourself onto Victoria Line, you come out of the station, it's just literally round on the other side of the road. I think it's opposite the main Tesco's. So you're not far from anywhere at all. They are a service that I recommend highly. They are expert there. There are a lot of people. If you don't meet Bernard in person, there's always somebody that will help you. These are the times where we as a community need to rely on our people who have been there and can help us to become bigger as a community. The Indians does it, the Pakistanis, the Turkish, why not Ghanaians? The problem with Ghanaians is we don't want to talk to anybody about what we are doing, thinking that our business will be all over. That is sometimes true. But sometimes you need to rely on our own experts and our own people and utilize the skills they've acquired over the years for our own good. So make use of BWF Solicitors. Go there, see them, and they will guide you. They will help you. They are a business of repute, a law firm that I've used and I've tested it many times.
Nana, there's a question here. I say with regards to the income. Can I employ someone at an appropriate skill level, but pay him or her below the salary level, but put the rest in equity for the employee? No, you can't. Because the evidence of you paying the person at that level is the money that goes through the HM Revenue and Customs. That is why when you're filling the forms, they ask you for your payroll number. And once you're approved, your payroll number is a permanent fixture in your SMS, which is a sponsorship management system, so that they can check. And when they're coming on visit and they're asking you questions, most of the questions, they know the answers and they just want explanation. So if you're not paying somebody the full wage or below the approved level, they can find out anytime they run their checks. So you need to be very careful.
Thank you. Bernard, there's a question here on chat before I come to Archie, whose hands is up. Can you use your council property to register a nursing agency?
Now, I don't like the word nursing agency or recruitment agency. You can use your council home as your business address. There's nothing wrong with it. As I keep saying, most of these businesses, you recruit the people to go and work on your behalf, and therefore they don't come and work at the business address. So any address which is a space where somebody can come and sit down with you and talk to you when they want to do their compliance visit, because the documents they want to see will be at a business address. If it's a property where they can come in, of course, you can use it. A lot of people use their homes as their business address, and there's nothing wrong with it.
So Bernard, just let me take you a little bit deeper. Those who are in council property, they've not bought it. They are renting as everybody else. Some of them, unfortunately, may be supported by housing benefit or council tax benefit. I think that is probably where some people may think is a difficulty.
Well, there's nothing wrong with running a business and receiving council tax benefits and universal credit. It's your income which makes you meet the threshold. But your turnover might be millions. Every nursing organization that we've worked for, including the healthcare, their turnover is in the millions. It's in the millions. Okay? So, but the person may be paying themselves maybe 20,000 a year. And if you take out the tax, the net is below the threshold where they can qualify for this. Every residential address that you have, you can use it to register your business. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right, okay.
But you cannot bring people to come and work from that address because it's a council, it's residential. Right. However, if you've bought your own home and you want people to come in there, you want your HR manager to be there, because most of these businesses will have 2 permanent employees who are the recruitment or the HR manager and then the director himself. It may be a husband and a wife. Right. They don't need to have anybody there. They're doing all the bits that I've said. They've got a software, they've got a network, they've got a computer connected to the internet, they've got a scanner, they can scan stuff and get digital copies of passport and stuff. So they don't need to go and rent a place. It may be that it's a way of also cutting down costs. Yes. Absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Okay. Another question here on chat. Can somebody acting as an authorizing officer perform the same role for another company at the same time?
Yes. Bear in mind that to be an authorized officer, you should be working for that business. So if you're working for 2 companies, one part-time, the other one full-time, or 2 part-times, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It is your integrity, your character, your record that is important, and the fact that you are employed and paid by that organization that they will look at.
Right. Somebody sent me a message saying I've missed a number of questions above. I don't know where that questions are.
So can a Ghanaian degree holder use ACTIS verification of English proficiency for the purpose of sponsorship application? Example, to meet the English? Absolutely. So the ACTIS is formally what we call the NARIC, which is a portal which is set up by UKVI to help assess foreign degrees and determine whether they are comparable to United Kingdom degrees. So if you're a Ghanaian degree holder, you've got your degree certificate and you've got a letter from the university which confirms that your degree was taught in English. If you upload both on the ACTIS platform and you pay your fee, they will do the comparability or English proficiency certificate for you. And that is what we call an acceptable evidence or a specified evidence within the rules. And therefore that is acceptable. And it covers the 4 modules.
Thank you. Let's call Archie, please. Archie's hand has been up for a while. Archie Dazi.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Bernard, for your inside information. I've asked the question directly to Bernard, but I want to say it so that it goes to everyone. Before I go on to to my question, just to add to the address system, my wife and I have always have our address of our business in our home. We've used one of our bedrooms as our office, and it's been like that forever. So I think that is a clarification of what Bernard has said. Now, my question is, if I'm employed from overseas to England, can I change my employer? Thank you.
Yes, you don't have to stick with the employer forever, and the employer doesn't have to stick with you forever. However, once you leave the employer will have to notify the Home Office. You can only leave that employer when you've secured your own employment with another organization who has a sponsorship license. Just remember that you are only here because business A brought you. If you want to go to business B, that is okay. But business B must apply for certificate for you. And this is what happens. Because we work for a lot of businesses, we are able to tell the problems that will arise. So you want to leave business A is not happy. He's reported you to the Home Office, but he hasn't canceled your COS. He hasn't canceled your certificate. Business B cannot issue a certificate. But when they try to issue, they'll say, Mr. Owusu already holds a certificate. Meanwhile, Mr. Owusu is left business A. And that is why, as a person, if you want to leave, you need to leave on good terms and tell the person that you found another employment. They will cancel the certificate. But when they cancel the certificate, they will report to you, but you still have your biometric card, which is you've got lawful residence. The business B can then apply for you, because without canceling the COS on the system, the business B can never issue you with a certificate to get a new transfer to them.
So, Bernard, as you know, between you and I the kind of things we do for our community, we have had instances where there has been controversy of people leaving business A to business B or whatever. And business A has gone and said so many X, Y, and Z about the employee to Home Office, making it very difficult life for them. In fact, they are even scared of going somewhere else. So what would be your advice to such a person caught up in two companies almost? I don't know what word to use, but the person is just stuck.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, the Home Office is not interested in gossip. What the Home Office is interested in, whether you come to work and you haven't come for 10 working days, whether the business is able to pay you at a level, whether they are still employing you. Any other gossip they are not interested in. So it doesn't matter what they say about you. If they say that you're someone who doesn't come to work regularly and therefore they've canceled your visa, they've canceled your COS, and then you've gone to another business and they've offered you work, the Home Office will not be asking you, why were you not going to work? They will not be interested in. There's a question here. What is the deciding factor between a pre and a post license visit? There's no factor, just that I'm aware that at least within the first 12 months, you will get a visit, if not within the first four years. Again, their preference is to visit before the issue, but with the opening up of this area, a lot of businesses are applying for license, and therefore it's very difficult to visit everyone before they approve. So they approve and then set up a visit for you, which may be within a year or within the 4 years. But whatever it is, they will come for a visit. The visit can last anything from 4 hours to 8 hours. I'm saying so because they are very, very meticulous. Very meticulous. They have every minutiae of evidence on your business. And when they come and they're asking you questions, please just be mindful that they know the answer. So if it's something that you have to own up, please own up. Some of them are very, very nice people who give you time to correct the error. Others may not be so kind and they will write a report. And if you're not careful, you might not get your certificate, or your certificate may be downgraded or revoked.
Okay, there's another question here. It says, does my company need a sponsorship license to sponsor a graduate visa holder who has been working for the company?
Does my company need a sponsorship license to sponsor a graduate visa? No, a graduate visa holder is somebody who's gone to university here and has been given the 2-year post-study degree, and they are allowed to work full-time for any business, for any duration, for any time within the 2 years. You don't need a license. But if you want to employ them after, then you have to get a license. Or you want to convert them from graduate student visa holder to that of a skilled migrant, then you need a sponsorship license before you can employ them.
Okay, another one. If a company relies on all employees and key contact work from home remotely, is it an expectation that there should be a separate business premises? I think
absolutely not. Remote working means that you have access to the internet, and that is one of the requirements that I tell every business to have. If you don't know how to run a computer, please ask somebody else to help you. The problem is that you don't know how to run some of these things. Most of our people are good. Unfortunately, there are some who don't know how to use the internet. If somebody is working remotely, it tells me that the person has access to internet. All you need to do is to make sure that the admin strategies and admin processes that you've put down in your manual are being followed. That is all is needed.
Right. And there's one question here which I think applies to a lot of family members. Is there the same route you have to go through if you want to bring a family member, preferably a relative, to help you with childcare needs at home while both parents are working?
So you want to bring a domestic worker. Unfortunately, there's no route for domestic worker. If you don't live in the UK or you live in the UK, but you spend a lot of time outside the UK and you have a domestic staff and you're coming to the UK, you can bring them to visit. We used to have a provision in the immigration rules for domestic workers. There's no longer domestic workers. So I'm afraid there's nothing like that. You cannot.
Right, I see. Vanessa, what's in place? Your hand is up. Vanessa, if you can unmute yourself for us, please. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Bernard, for this educative, session on this issue, because I'm a local councillor in Liverpool, and we have a lot of these questions being asked, and I'm glad that the Ghanaian community has taken it upon itself, to educate our people with regards to this sponsorship license thing. I asked a question before and I decided to speak. Let me ask again, because with regards to, especially with beauty therapists, and we've seen a lot of people who are coming into the country, especially from our Afro-Caribbean community, finding it difficult to find specialist beauty care for themselves, especially for those of us up north. Down south, I know every corner you can always get a salon to get your hair done or even to get your hair cut. But up north is quite different. And it is very difficult to also find people to employ, even if you have the sponsorship to sponsor them. That was the reason why I asked if it is possible, in terms of getting these people from outside, and the country to be able to fit this skill, because I believe that once we as an employer myself, or the way I have done my feasibility studies and stuff like that, some of these skills even earn more than the minimum requirement that the Home Office is asking for. So if somebody is wanting to go into bringing people from outside the country to fill this gap, to serve the community, and also to contribute to the economy of the United Kingdom, is there no way that we could put an argument whereby someone can be able to sponsor these people or have a sponsorship license under this category?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, as I said, nothing prevents anyone from setting up a business and applying for a sponsorship license and recruiting people. Some of the recruitment routes are very easy. Some are fraught with difficulties. For us, as a law firm, if we apply for a sponsorship license for you, we always make a business case. So we justify why your business must be given a license. I'm happy to share this with you. So for example, we will give you a track record. We will then show the national statistics where you are, the likely chance of you recruiting someone where you are within your locality. What is the staff turnover for that particular business? What are the problems in that industry? And maybe share a trade industry pamphlet or go on a trade pamphlet, trade industry portal to share the difficulties that others have said. But as I said, you will have to meet the resident labor test because it's not a shortage occupation. And then you have to be able to show that you've done everything possible for this service. It may be that the service you provide is very bespoke and unique, and therefore you don't have people who specialize in that business in the UK. Show why it's bespoke. Show efforts you've done, adverts you've done, interviews that you've conducted with, piles and piles of interviews. That this is what I've done. These are the people I've interviewed. These are the wages I've offered, and they did not qualify. And I've done it for months and months and months, and I can't get anyone. That's why I'm bringing this person. That is possible.
Okay, thank you. Evelyn Tavia. Evelyn, you are with us. If you can unmute yourself and go ahead with your question, Evelyn.
Okay, thank you very much for this informative session. I've got two questions. Roughly, how long does it take if you put in an application for this sponsorship license? Are we looking months, weeks?
Okay, currently it takes anything up to 12 weeks. It can be shorter. It depends on what information has been put in there. It depends whether you've made a business case. It depends whether you've provided all the supporting documents. But as I said, once you've made the application, you can pay £200 extra to make it a priority service. Priority application, and they will treat it as a priority, and it will be considered within 7 days.
Okay, thank you. There's a chat from Patrick Bamfo saying they've had a visit from a compliance officer before last Christmas, which I believe was just Christmas gone. We are 20th of January. As what Bernard is saying, it could take up to 12 weeks. So he wanted to know, does it take that long? So I don't know if Bernard wants to add to that answer.
Yes, it could take that long. I mean, once you've had a compliance visit, even if you apply as a priority service, now that they've been, they take you out of the service standard. They put you back on the service standard and take you out of the priority application and refund your money, because for some reason they want to come and visit and ask you questions. So you will not be a priority application any longer. But most applications can go through priority application without prior visit. It's possible. And as I keep saying, as with everything, preparation is very important.
Okay, there are questions with me here. Is there a restriction on the type of business that can apply for this type of sponsorship license?
There's no restriction at all. I mean, as I said, every area of business can apply to bring people from outside. You need to justify and fit the person within the requirements in the rules. Beauty therapists, there are beauty therapists. There are even beauty therapists for dogs. There are drummers, caterers, plumbers, welders, high pressure welders. Some of them are on shortage occupation. So if you go on the Home Office website, almost every occupation or trade, you can bring someone.
Right. So what happens when you fail the compliance check? Would they give indication of why you failed and what you need to do better to get?
Well, if it's a pre-approval, then they will tell you why you failed, and they will obviously show you the evidence of why you failed, and that means that you will have to reapply. You can reapply immediately. If it's a post-approval compliance audit, then that's a big one. That could lead to a downgrade. That could lead to an action program. That could lead to a revocation. Normally, they work with you over 6 months to 1 year. But remember, if they revoke you, you can only reapply after 1 year.
Okay. So in the case where you have applied, they've come and you failed, within a year, can you reapply, or you have to wait for? I know when they revoke is 12 months, but in the case where you are in the process and you failed once, what is the criteria?
You can apply the next day. If you've identified problems, you need to work on them, because if the systems are not working, and as I say, as with everything, you need to test your system. I mean, even with a burst of resources, you can fail some of these things. So for me, it's important to speak to a specialist I know that sometimes our people don't want to spend money. That's fine. We don't have a problem. But please, when it's a compliance audit and they fail you at a compliance audit, every person on your books is going home if you've given them a sponsorship certificate. Right. Therefore, it's always important, I say to you, speak to the specialist. It may be that you just want to ask questions. With ourselves, it's an area that we specialize in. We ourselves hold a sponsorship license, and we are A-rated. We've done compliance audit ourselves. I was the lead person that did it. They came here, they sat down with me, they went through all my records, asked questions from some of the managers and the employees. So have I done in compliance visits at other businesses for my clients as well. And as I said, I've done 2 pre and 2 post, and all we passed.
Right. So can one person have sponsorship license for various companies? If
yes.
They have 2, 3 companies.
Yes, I've got a business client who has 4 sponsorship licenses for 4 different businesses.
Right. Okay. So from your experience, what is the highest area of business that has applications going through right now? Is it just the care?
Health and social care. Health and social care.
Okay. I see. All right. So your closing remarks, please. So far, we don't have much chat room questions or any hands up. It tells me that your job has been accomplished today. And time, obviously, is of the essence. We are grateful for your time, 2 hours of being with us. For a barrister like yourself, is a lot of giveaway to the community, and we appreciate you. I would say that yes, you can give us some sort of titles to come, so that we can start marketing it, because I can see your presentations have become very popular, and we want to make sure we keep the momentum with the community. So I will liaise with you to any other areas that you think community will benefit greatly. We can at least once every 3 months, we need your appearance if you can.
Yes, and I will put our heads together. Your brilliant head, we'll put it together with my not so brilliant head, and then we'll come up with something.
Give us your closing remarks, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm grateful to all of you for joining this community engagement program. The many people that we can speak to, the more we can cascade this information to other businesses. We've come to stay in this country. We've stayed here for decades and decades. We are now into business, creating employment for our people, both here and from home. It's my desire that I see that you retain the business and you prosper. As I told you, the businesses that we manage, their turnover is in their millions. So I see the kind of money that they see. I want you to hold on to your business. So please, the very basic things that we do, record keeping. Please don't use common sense to do what Home Office says you should do. Use the law. The law says that English must be reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Don't go and do foundation degree, because your common sense says that, well, they said if somebody has GCSE, they can pass. So I'll use foundation degree. Foundation degree is not a degree. It is a foundation on which a first degree or first degree is built on a bachelor's degree. Please, if somebody is coming to work and they tell you that I've got a visa and they've given you a card and you've seen, yes, they've got a visa valid till 2024. That is not the end of the story. If you don't know what to do, ask. You need to be sure that you've got a manual that tells you exactly what to do. Finally, when we're taking records, I've seen businesses managing hundreds of thousands of pounds, and when I ask for records, they rush to their room, they bring an empty file, they turn around in their chair, they look under the table, they open a bag, and they said, Bernard, I'm sorry, I can't find it. I'll find it and bring it to you. Can you imagine if I were from the Home Office? That is a straight fail. Record keeping does not mean that you go and buy a lot of gigabytes to save your items on there. All it means is that you have a folder created on your computer, you've got a scanner, Even your mobile phone can be a scanner. Scan the document in a readable form, legible, with dates clearly marked. You've saved it. If that document has a validity date, you put in an alert system, which will alert you a month before it expires, so that you start holding conversations with this person as to when to renew it. Finally, don't cut corners. The fact that you can bring someone from outside doesn't mean that you have to bring more people than you require. I've heard stories of people, migrants calling me, Mr. Bernard, this woman employed me, she gave me 39 hours. Now every week she's giving me 16 hours. You know what you're doing? You are breaching your own rules. And the Home Office will see that because they see the pay you're giving this person and it's not commensurate with what you said you will pay the person. You can pay the person above that pay, you cannot pay the person below. And very soon, they're going to knock on your door and say, this is what we're saying, what is going on. So if you don't need the people, don't bring in more than you can employ. But we know your businesses are based on contracts. And sometimes when some of these people cause trouble there, your contract comes under review and you may lose your contract. That I understand, because I work with a lot of people in this industry. But work with your lawyer. Speak with your lawyer so that you understand the new concepts and ideas coming in the business so that you can identify what is likely to be a problem for you and you resolve it before it becomes a problem. Our role as lawyers is to ensure that our clients have the best of advice and support. And I can tell you that every business that has gone with us, they haven't had a problem. And they're doing extremely well, extremely well. There's one business that over 6 months, she's bought 4 more properties, looking after 4 people at a time. And these are young people who've come from prisons or problem homes. And for one person, she needs 4 people for 24 hours. So if she's got, each house has 4 rooms and she's got 4 people there times 4. 4 times 4, that is how many people she needs. And she's already got homes before she even came to us. And she's doing very well. So the business can pay for itself. But please, once you see the money coming, don't say that, well, I'm getting rich, so I'm not going to speak to a lawyer. If you can do it, I don't have a problem. But let's all together do it very well so that we can retain the business and grow our community like how the Asians have grown. They've got multimillionaires in their community so that we also have multimillionaires from nursing homes and people with nursing businesses and care businesses who can stand tall in the community and support all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bernard. You said it all. I will ask you all to use the service of BWF solicitors based at Seven Sisters, just round the corner from Seven Sisters Station. Tonight has been an exciting one. We've gone through sponsorship license and the criteria one need to go through to pass the test at the Home Office. We've been privileged to have Bernard who has taken us through, and our program has been brought to you by kind courtesy of Send. Send, your #1 money transfer company to Ghana and other parts of the world. Diaspora Insurance, those who have insurance needs for families in times of need. And IT Consortium, if it is a group of people who want to put money together or do fundraising for your people back home to build a school, renovate, they will provide you the Chango app that can help you see what your money is being used for. We are grateful to the High Commission for endorsing this program. Next program, we are hoping that we can get the High Commission representative to come and talk about the premium passport service. The premium passport service that has been launched and opened in the United Kingdom, precisely in London. What they do, how do people get hold of them, how do you go about it, those who need help. If you also want to know more, I think there's a communication about the fact that there's a communication recently that came around that they will no longer be providing a service that they will send your passport to you. You need to provide your pre-addressed envelopes and when you are sending your passport or for visas and other things. We will talk more when we get to meet them in 2 weeks' time from today. So watch out for the communication that will come around. Watch out for the communication. We are grateful to Access Media, led by Paul and Linda, Paul Akwabwa and Linda Wayo, for their good work behind the scene, helping me to bring this to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Omega Live, and of course on Zoom. Until then, a Happy New Year again. Is the 20th of the year, so it's still new to say Happy New Year. And stay well and be safe. We will meet again, and we will see each other again. Have a good night.
Hello? Oh, my son is Canada Dada. And then he left home, menu. My son, this is a setup. You was Spain, oh yes. I Spain was any secret free, ha? A Ghana. Yet we love you. It's 11 and as a member of a baby family. Oh, that be my son, would you check your phone? Why? It's very easy now to send money from anywhere in Europe to Ghana. I'm in Spain right now, and I just send money to my mom. And on Tiasia, also, don't send it, don't take e-levy. No, on tap send, there's no e-levy charge. It's just free when you send. Those in the US, those in London, those in Canada, plenty places in Europe. You can send your money through tap send to Ghana. And please, it's free of charge. There's no deduction in any e-levy or any charge at all. So what are you waiting for? Send the money to those family people. Me must send it. Let's go and take a clan talk. Reggae man of a pack. It's tap send.
Araba, there are some people at the door. Go and tell them I have traveled to Russia.
Yes, Daddy.
Where's your father?
My father said I should tell you he has traveled to Russia.
Your father has killed me. I sent him money from America to complete my house for me.
Are all student association contributions?
Even the money from the fundraiser for Kweku's surgery.
Oh! Too? Don't be a victim. If you're contributing to a project, alumni dues, or any public campaign, Chango is your best choice. Chango keeps track of all donations and gives you the power to know exactly where the money goes. Chango is approved by Bank of Ghana. Call 0270-066-614 or visit changoapp.com for more information.
Uncle, my father is hiding under the bed.
Oh, Araba.
Chango for your groupings and crowdfunding.
At Diaspora Insurance, we understand the importance of dignified send-offs within Ghanaian culture and traditions. We also understand that you want to avoid the double trauma of your family grieving and not having the financial support to cover funeral expenses when you're not around. With our Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan, you can now cover yourself or your family in Ghana or abroad. With no medicals required, we'll accept you if you are under 75 years. Visit our website today or call us to complete a simple form in under 5 minutes. With Diaspora Insurance, your peace of mind is guaranteed.